Today, Elena is SKOKO. She is a singer, a writer and mother. She's live between Bali, Roma and PULA, Croatia. For several years, Elena has been dedicated to promoting a luminous and empowering vision and childbirth, celebrating its an important rite of passage to motherhood. She has written several books on the natural birth of children where she describes in detail how they overcame pain using the voice. Her first book, Memory of Seeing Birth, is available in English and Italian. She is an advocate for the human rights of women. Today, she represents various associations that oppose the dehumanization of childbirth. She also works on the bill that seeks to create obstetric violence. Her dark ambition hid in the AGORA and meeting place.
Welcome to the AGORA. Elena SKOKO from PULA, Croatia, the birthing movement. Elena, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Angela.
Elena, what is the birthing movement?
Well, I can say I am already at the third wave of the childbirth movement. And that started actually in the 1930s, and it was a movement for natural birth. And it was initiated actually not only by women, but also by doctors. And then in the 1980s, we had a movement for the humanization of birth, and especially in Latin America. This third wave I am part of, we are doing advocacy and activism for respectful maternity care. That is, for the respect of human rights of mothers and babies.
Why did you join the birthing movement?
Well, I had a beautiful birth, very romantic, and in Bali, I gave birth in water. And my friends actually asked me to write about it. So I wrote a book, Memoirs of a Singing Birth, where I described my experience. And it was published in English and in Italian. And when I was going to present this book and sharing my story, which is an ecstatic story, orgasmic story of childbirth, people shared with me their stories. So both women and men shared what was their experience as mothers and also as being born. So how was their birth? And these stories were very often traumatic, very hard to hear and to bear and to share, so very emotional. And the more I was going and presenting and going around, the more stories I collected. And in some ways, I felt responsible. I just couldn't keep on going and saying how birth is beautiful when so many women are having terrible experiences. So I felt the urge to act and to do something about it. I found other colleagues, mothers, activists, and together we started to be part of this global movement for respectful childbirth. And we started doing actions that could be also campaigns on social media, but also collaborations with institutions like ministries or the parliament. We even were involved in writing a law proposal, a bill on respectful maternity care. So this activism grew more and more. And today we are doing evidence-based activism. We do research, and so it all started from my own personal experience.
Is this mostly done in Italy or where, or is it all over the world?
Well, the movement itself is a worldwide movement. My work has been done mostly in Italy. But we are quite an animated network, and so we know each other from different places. Like from Italy, we know people from Spain who are doing a lot of activism, and we know people from all over Europe and also abroad, United States, Latin America, many places. So Yeah, we do locally. We act locally, but think globally, we can say.
In some moment, you started doing this in Indonesia, in Bali. Why did you do it in Bali?
Well, I was living in Bali when I got pregnant. So I had this option to go back to Europe and give birth, or to stay in Bali and give birth there. I mean, there are lots of facilities, there are hospitals, but also there was this wonderful midwife, Ibu Robin Lim, and she founded a birth center, Bumi Sehat, and where only midwives are attending birth. So I met her and I really fell in love with her. She was so maternal. She was such an expert midwife, and she made me feel really empowered. So I gave birth in Bali, actually, in at Bumi Sehat Birthing Center, and it was a wonderful experience. I don't do activism in Bali very much because I pretty much enjoy it there. Uh, but yes, mostly research and meeting people.
How was it that you decided to introduce the idea of singing?
Well, I'm an artist. I'm mostly a singer. So singing while in labor and at birth just came spontaneously to me. It was something that really felt nice and right, and it was the right thing to do. Singing helped me bear with pain and the breathing, and it could relieve some anxious thoughts, and just it was pleasurable. It was pleasurable to sing and to give birth. And my midwife was also singing, and so she welcomed my daughter to the world with an Hindu mantra, and it was all so beautiful. And singing really helped me, going through all the process of birth.
Can we hear you singing?
Okay, I can sing you just a little bit. Sweet is the way you whisper in my ear, sweet words of prayer sweep away my fear. Sweet is your breath when you lean on your cheek. My sweet baby, I love you. Play that old trick. Play that trick on me every day, every night. Play that trick on me, gonna treat you right. Play that trick on me every day, every night. Oh, baby, baby, oh.
That is really a beautiful song. We are going to go to a commercial break. We continue in the Agora. Elena SKOKO from PULA, Croatia, birthing movement. Here I have a piece of sculpture from the Malagana culture, and they worship birthing. How do you see that these ancestral people worship birthing?
Well, without birthing, there wouldn't be human beings. All humanity is based on giving birth to a child, and the woman is a heroine here. She's the protagonist, and how the birth will happen, influences life of not only of a child who is being born, but of a woman, because when a child is born, a woman is born, a mother is born, actually. And if this mother is having a beautiful birth, her motherhood will start in a beautiful way. And we know that motherhood is not very easy task. And if you can start empowered and feeling this ancestral power in childbirth, then you are full of energy, you are positive, and you can start motherhood in a better way. and this is good for the child, for the mother, but also for the partner, for everybody involved with the new life, all the family, and ultimately the society. So, we today are not really validating, are not honoring birth. We think it's something that happens. We don't really give much thought about it. We neglect birth, and we are not really concerned about it. But the ancient people, they knew how important it is, the beginning of life.
That is very interesting, Elena, because somehow motherhood has been devalued by civilization, or what we call our own Western civilization. Do you think we are coming back to our ancestral habits?
Well, the society as a whole is going in a totally opposite direction, in a techno birth, in the use of much technology and medical devices. So I don't know if this is going to be an evolutionary change in this way. But there is a small group of people and a small percentage of mothers who are demanding to have their own kind of birth, and they want to give birth by themselves, feeling they can do it. And sometimes women even choose to give birth without assistance. So there are many ways you can give birth, but what is important is that when the mother gave birth, that she had a positive experience.
In reality, in art, and not even in the Greek art or Roman, the birthing has been considered something that is not to be shown, that is not to be shown, that the moment that human beings come to life is not considered something that is beautiful. How do we convince humanity that this is beautiful?
That is a big question. Well, right now there are many movies actually that are being made about birth, and they show a totally different story. Now, if we are accustomed to see on Western movies a very dynamic childbirth scene, and always involving hospital and rushing and the women going crazy, now this scenario is changing because women are filming their own versions of birth. So now they are actually, honoring birth, and they show us a totally different scenario where a woman is in power. She might have contractions, she might be in pain, but she's, coming over it, and she's doing it in such a gracious way. And when the baby comes out, it's so powerful. And we have social media now that are showing us so many home videos of birth, so home birth generally. And those scenes are so powerful. I mean, when I got pregnant, I watched a lot of these movies and a lot of these, homemade video clips, and it helped me. It helped me to imagine what is going to be my birth. Because if you imagine your dramatic scene, you're going to have a dramatic birth because you don't know else. But if you see other types of birth, like today is happening and women are sharing, you're going to imagine something completely different and be prepared. Be prepared to, go through the pain or contractions and sing and dance rhythmically and, moan and having a nice experience, and then giving birth and knowing how powerful it is and that you can do it and you are the one who is in charge. So I think, the imaginary is changing, and this is hopefully good.
This is really a beautiful thing, that women can show their birthing, and that maternity is become something that is really valued. You have come back into the gift economy. How do you put one thing and the other?
Well, maternal gift economy that I started to know about when I met Genevieve Vaughan changed my life, because I was, doing the mothering, and I could see how much work it was. but nobody seemed, to notice. I was working, so I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was like doing nothing. But I was really tired at the end of the day, and I could see I was doing a lot of work, but nobody could see, not even myself. So when I started reading Genevieve Vaughan's books about maternal gift economy, and she is talking about the theory about how the gift economy, the gifting from mother to child as a model, is actually the real economy beneath today's economy. So it's hidden, but it's very productive. It actually makes human beings and human capital. So it really helped me to understand where I was, what I was doing, and how this work is really to be honored. And also the work of advocacy and activism, which is gratuitous. It's free, and you have to be a volunteer to do it. Nobody's going to pay for that, but it's so important, and it raises awareness, and it can make a change, and it's a free work.
In your way, from birthing to the gift economy, you have written several books.
I've written a book about my experience, but then when I started researching, I've written a lot of articles, scientific and discussion articles on maternity, on activism, on maternal gift economy, and how it all fits in, and what are mothers actually doing for other mothers and for the society as a whole. So I really dedicated my life to that. Before I was an artist, now I am a mother artist, and all my art and my engagement is in this direction.
It is incredible how Elena has managed to put birthing as the center of maternity. And now in the third part, we are going to see what has been Elena's transition from being an artist to being an activist in birthing. We continue in the Agora. Elena SKOKO from PULA, Croatia, birthing movement. Elena, tell us how has been your walk from being an artist, also being a fashion designer, to becoming an activist to help women have a beautiful birth.
That was a question. That is it's hard to explain. It's maternity that changed everything. I was a multidisciplinary and multimedia artist, and I was a singer and fashion designer. I was doing a lot of things, and my life was really busy. And I was in the scene, I was an artist. And when I became a mother, all this world just crashed, and I realized that it's so hard to be an artist and a mother. And this really shocked me, and it took me some time to realize. But then this motherhood that started with pregnancy and childbirth started to be my topic. And so I dedicated my artistic life to motherhood, and to do a lot of research on all levels. And it really became so important. And so I became a social artist and activist because I saw a need there. So to empower women and to say how important motherhood is, and how this experience is life-changing, and it has to be honored because it's so important. So everything started, all my art and all my intellectual activities started going around motherhood. And this is because this is what I was doing, actually. And it was sometimes it is funny, because you cook dinner, you mind the baby, and you talk with the Ministry of Health, So all these things you do together, and we always laugh about it with my colleagues. And when we tell the stories of how we did it all and how we are doing things while taking care of the child. And so it has fun moments. It's part of life, actually. And this is what we forget about when we exclude motherhood from the social discourse and from public discourse, from the movies and from all the work. We don't see children around professionals. That is wrong, because children are around professionals. We have to show them, and they're part of life. So there isn't work without children. When you're a mother and a working mother, this all combines. You can't really think to ignore being a mother while you're working. And also now, when we are working from home, very many people work from home. This is obvious. This is obvious that you have children while you're working, and how you manage that. Let's talk about it.
I think this pandemic has changed really the way we see the world, and the way women also can, working from home, can be with the children, and can in a way have an exercise of how is it to be a mother. This is something that has really changed the way that we see life and the way that we think. Do you think that this movement of being at home, of being a mother, of being with your children, is going to change the world?
Well, I think and I hope it is going to change motherhood in the sense of, taking it out in the world. So motherhood is not supposed to be a lonely action. You're not supposed to be alone at home with the child. It's really hard, and this is not how it's supposed to be for humans. Now we are in the pandemic and we are at home, so single mothers are the only ones who are taking care of the children. But when they have a partner, then a partner is taking care of the children as well, maybe more than before, when he was probably more out or having more work duties than home duties. But I hope that we all realize how motherhood is not supposed, and it's not a good thing if it is a lonely business. To take care of children, we need a village. So what I hope, after we can all go out, is that everybody will realize that children belong to all the village. Children are not only mothers' duty. So mothers need other people, otherwise they go crazy. It's not an easy task to do it all by yourself. And if mothers think that they can do it because this is the way it is, they soon realize this is not how it's supposed to be. So somebody really tricked them into that thinking. But what I hope is that they will realize that it needs more people around the child. So mothers know that, and they are asking for help, saying, "Hey, hello, can somebody help here?" So yeah, I hope we all go out and sing and dance with children.
This is really what has happening in Nachira, where women, single mothers, who are mostly the inhabitants of Nachira, have managed to get all women to help them to bring up the children. And that is, in a way, when we talk about matriarchy. When Heidi talks about matriarchy, Heidi Goethen-Abendroth. So maybe in a way we have to change the way that we live and live in villages.
Well, I hope, because this model, it's not really working well. It's damaging mothers and children. Children need a lot of people to grow with and to learn from. They need to meet with all the generations and know about the world from people who are around. And actually, when mothers are mothering together, it's an easier task, because you can always, everybody's keeping an eye on children, but children have a lot of autonomy, and they actually play with themselves. So the more children there are, the better it is, and it is easier to actually rear them. And for mothers, it's easier to actually do this job together with other mothers, and of course everybody else who is with them.
So how long is it since you came back to Croatia? And is that your home now?
Well, I have a nomadic life. I live in many places. So right now I am in Croatia and I'm going to stay for a while. And, I come and go. This is the way I live.
Do you think your daughter would actually practice, be part of the gift economy, or is she being brought up in that sort of way?
Well, I think she is. This is what I'm teaching her, and she could see from me and from my example and from the example of all my family and around her. And I'm also telling her how important it is. So I hope so she can, know about it and know how to practice it.
It is very important what you say, Elena, about how the gift economy, the maternal gift economy, could change the world. Thank you, Elena, for having accompanied us in this program, and wonderful what we can probably do and what you can probably, being part of the gift economy, do for the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to all of you.